Kia ora, welcome again to the Rebecca and Knits Knitting Podcast. I'm Bex and thank you for joining me today to chat about all my knitting. As usual, it's been a while since I've made an episode. Life has been busy settling into my new job as a new graduate midwife, and my knitting time has been quite reduced, but I have been working away in the background and making some beautiful things still. So join me to chat about all of those. I have some finished objects, of course, and I have some works in progress, and I have some plans, and I have some acquisitions because I've recently attended the Capital Fibre Fest, which is the yarn festival that's held in my hometown of Upper Hutt. That was last weekend. So I have some lovelies to share with you that I purchased there as well. So let's get started because I don't have a lot of time, but I have a lot of content to get through. So what I'm wearing today is the Chaika. This is by Midori Hirose. It is an oversized boxy sweater that has this gorgeous ribbed V-neck detail. I have also added rib on the sleeves, which is not in the original pattern for the long ribbed cuffs, but that was my modification because I made this using 5 skeins of Brooklyn tweed tones, which I got on clearance from Lupine Yarn Co. You may have heard that Brooklyn tweed is no longer going to be producing yarn, and which is very sad because they have beautiful yarns, and Lupine was selling these in their most recent sale, and there was only 2 50-gram skeins of the dark and 3 50-gram skeins of the bright, which is over and undertone of the same colorway on different bases, left in the shop. So I purchased those at a really good discount and realized I had the perfect meterage to make a Chaika. So I really love it. It's really fun and funky. It's very cropped. I will more often wear it over a dress or a high-waisted skirt than with jeans because it otherwise is quite cropped. But I really love it. And Brooklyn tweed is beautiful yarn. It is woolen spun and yeah, just light and airy but really easy to wear. So if you'd like any more details on this project, you can have a look at my Ravelry project page. I will link that below. So this is one of my finished objects that I think I talked about maybe in my last episode. I think I showed the yarn maybe. I didn't actually review what I talked about in my last episode, but this I have finished more recently. In terms of other finished objects, I have plenty of socks to talk about, but first I will talk about the jumpers that I made for my daughters. This is the jumper that I made for my youngest daughter, Rhea. She is 7, and I made this modified version of the Bean and Olive by Andrea Mowry for her. It's modified because I didn't do all of the colourwork chart, and also I didn't add sleeves. But as you can see, it has this beautiful rainbow gradient. This was some bulk buy yarn that I got just in a rainbow gradient balls, and I used it held with a fingering weight undyed yarn, and then I used this beautiful teal colour which she picked out to go with it for the colour work. So she chose to have it short sleeved, which is great because it keeps her torso warm, but also it will fit her for quite a while. So that's really lovely. She's really enjoying it. She does find it a wee bit itchy, but I brought her like a turtleneck long sleeve tee that she can wear underneath this in a pale pink, so that she has something to wear under it that she won't feel any itch, but she will be warm. After I made that for Rhea, I cast on a jumper for my middle daughter Cara. She is almost 10, and I made her this sweater. Again, she picked out the yarn from my stash. The dark grey is a beautiful DK weight lamb's wool, which is so soft, and held with one of my mini cones of mohair. She wanted wide sleeves and a cropped body, and that is what she got. So for this, I just modified the lento pattern and did a modified stitch count cast on, smaller than the smallest size, and I knit on I think, a 5mm needle, not a 6. So a slightly denser gauge. And she really loves it. Again, it's like an area. It looks super cropped. It is super cropped, but she likes it that way. And she's got a petite, nearly 10-year-old. I did have to add on to the sleeves after I had originally finished it. You can almost see there that there's a little bit of a change here. I used the same yarns, but it hasn't been washed since I added the extra length to the sleeve, because I did originally do a rapid decrease and cinched cuff, and they just contracted a bit too much as she wore it, so I did add some length to it. I didn't actually add short row shaping to this one because Cara wanted to be able to wear it either way round and not worry about which was the front or the back, so it is just symmetrical. So that one I knit up for Cara. I asked my older daughter Ella, she's 12, whether she wanted me to knit her a jumper this winter or this season, and she said nope, she would like some socks. So I didn't actually bring them, did I? No, but I am working on a pair of just scrappy socks. She asked for green, so I've got half a sock knit. So maybe I'll share those with you next time when I've actually got them knit up. Yeah, so she wasn't keen on a sweatshirt, but she is keen on some socks. So I will work on those for her because I've always got some socks on the needles. Speaking of socks, my Mama Wooling year of socks continues. In March, we had this beautiful green kind of St. Patrick's Day inspired colourway, and this was called Lucky Lass, if I remember rightly. So I used the main skein and the mini, and did these kind of pearl ridge stripes throughout for my fingering weight socks. I just have one of them with me, but I obviously made a pair. And I also made another pair of skimmer socks. I'm attempting to get one regular pair and one skimmer sock pair or no-show sock pair every month for the whole year with the Mama Wooling colourways. Nothing different about these ones, just again the skimmer sock and the 2 colourways that came in the sock set. Then I also, that was March's colour. Then I finished April. I had cast these ones on in January actually. I did 3 pairs of socks with January's colourway, and so I finished off these stripy ones that I did. They have already had several wears inside my shoes for 8-hour shifts at work, so you can see there is starting to be some matting and felting of the heel, but that doesn't worry me in the slightest. I'm just going to wear my socks until they wear out and then make more. So I do have a pair of those. They turned out really cute. So they were from my 3rd pair from January. They didn't quite get finished in January. And March's colourway was this beautiful one, and it's called Egg Hunt in the Leaves. And these are my skimmer sock pair, which I made for myself, and I used just a mini from Stash, this deep aubergine purple kind of colour to go with them. And I used my regular socks for the month. I gifted them to my friend Helen. So I used again the main skein, and I used a mini from actually Mama Wooling's Professor Fungi gnome set because I liked how that went with it slightly better. So I used that. I'll pop in a photo of that pair of socks. They were just basic socks, nothing fancy about those ones, just vanilla, but with the 2 colourways. So that's those, and I've already got 1 sock finished for May, so I'll share that with you when we get to WIPS. Have I got any other FOs? My only other finished object is Mr. Professor Fungi. I jumped on the gnome bandwagon for the mystery gnome along this month, and this is the Professor Fungi gnome from Imagine Landscapes. My friend Helen did the Advent knit along, and I just loved the vibe, so I decided to jump on board this time. He's a lot bigger than I anticipated him being, but I really enjoyed knitting him up. I used 3 colourways. The hat colourway, the body, and this accent colour are all from Yarn Therapy. they had a winter solstice mini skein adventish thing that was all based on fungi a couple years ago. So those, and I actually won a mini skein set from those colorways a little while ago, a couple of years ago. Anyway, I hadn't found a use for them. They were a linen merino single, and so I used those colors for my Mr. Gnome, and then just, I think the accent, the beard and nose and hands color is a mini skein I had in stash, and I think it's from Dreamfire Yarn Co. It was either Dreamfire or Mama Willing. I'm not 100% sure because it had already been caked up, didn't have a label with it. And I just used that for the beard and the nose and the hands. And the only modification I made is that there was a Colourwork stitch pattern that was textured to go on the hat. But because I'd chosen to use a variegated yarn for the hat, I chose to do just afterthought French knots on top of the hat instead of the Colourwork design, because I thought that they would pop a little bit more. So really happy with him. He was fun. I will definitely do another. Yeah, really cute. Really enjoyable to knit. And compared to doing like a West Knit shawl knit along when the clues are massive and you never get them finished in the week that you have, the clues for this gnome felt really small and achievable, so I got to do them. Yeah, I got them finished well within the time before the next clue dropped, so that felt really achievable and fun to fit in amongst the other things that I was knitting. So that's all the things that I have finished. I have obviously been working on other things as well. So in terms of WIPS, here's my sock for May. I just finished this one up this morning. This colourway by Mama Willing is called First Frost, as May is the beginning of, we're getting into that autumny, wintry weather, and we did actually have our first frost of the season the day that this arrived, so that was kind of cool. It's this beautiful, cool icy blues and teals and greys, and then this darker colour, and I've just done wedge toe and a shadow wrap heel as usual. And for this one I just made up this little, I kind of toyed with the idea of doing some snowflake colour work, but just because of how variegated the base colourway is, I didn't think they would show very well, so instead I did this kind of just one by one colour work band through the top there, which was really fun. And yeah, so that's sock number 1. So I will get the second one on the needles probably today, because I like to always have a sock on the needles or in my handbag. So that's one WIP. Also, after my last episode, I had a bit of a WIP cast on party. I cast on the jumper for my daughter Cara, and I cast on more socks, and I also cast on this shawl. So this I've been wanting to knit for a long time and have been collecting the, oh, I'm partway through a row, how annoying. Had the yarn in stash for a while, but hadn't got a chance to cast on yet, but I had been really enjoying a bit of flat knitting and doing some shawls. And with the cooler weather coming, it's always great to have something snuggly to wrap up in. So one moment while I just fix my stitches here. I'll put them all back on the same needle so that I can actually show you what it looks like. This is the Night Shift shawl by Andrea Mowry. Isn't that cool? It's designed to be knit up in hand spun or spin cycle yarns, which I am not using. I am using Pulse from Skeins, which is a yarn that is created to be similar to spin cycle. There's a DK weight, and I am using several different colorways here. I have this one is called Flow, this one is called Largo. I have this one here that has the teals in it called Flutter. I have a lighter blue as well that's called Laser. And I think there's one other colorway in here that I am using. Where are you, friend? This one here. I can't remember the name of that one. on the top of my head. No, but there's that one as well. So I'm kind of like Spin Cycle, each ball is got a long color change gradient with different colors in each strand, and so each ball looks a bit different from each other. So some are darker, some are lighter. That's one of the flutter ones that's transitioned quite differently now. So I'm just picking them up and using them as I feel. This is the lighter one that's got quite a big section of this lighter tealy aqua-y colour. Yeah, so I'm just kind of picking them at random. I'm trying to keep at least one pink. You use two colours. It's slip stitch mosaic knitting, and so you use two colours at a time. Only one colour per row, but you're kind of alternating two colours at a time, and I'm kind of trying to keep one pink on the needles throughout, so kind of the background colour being a pink, one of the pink shades, and then yeah, the blips be changing, and it changes between 2x2 blips and 1x1 blips. It's really pretty, eh? That's really effective. So I'm not even halfway through this thing yet. It's going to get a lot bigger. It's just it just continues wider and wider and wider like this to be an asymmetric triangle, and it has a I-cord finishing on each edge, which kind of stripes with the two colours, which is really fun. Yeah, so I'm just knitting away on that. It's a really fun pattern to be working on. Great car knitting. I haven't taken it away around about with me very much because you end up with so many balls of wool to keep just changing away. I have it in this great big bag, and so it's more of an at-home project, but I do really enjoy working on it. It's quite engaging but mindless at the same time. Like, you don't really have to think, but you're not just doing stockinette either, so it's quite enjoyable in that way. Yeah, so I'm just working away at that in the background when I feel like it. When I need a break from what I'm doing, I pick that one up. I'm also working on my other main project that I've been working on hard I was finishing this, and once I'd finished this, I have gone back to working on my lauder. Now this, if you've been following me for any length of time, you would have seen this a few times. This lovely jumper has been on my needles for over a year. I cast on, I think, in March last year, and kind of in between test knits, and kind of never got back to it because I just kept picking out new test knits or new cast-ons. And because this didn't have a timeline, it just kind of got put by the wayside. But it is I have been working hard at this, guys. It is a lot of work. It's a lot of hours because it's fully cabled. This is the Lauder by Rebecca of the Crayabaya. I'm trying to see how much I'm showing you. It is a V-neck, all over cabled raglan pullover. No, it's not raglan. It's not a raglan. But anyway, when I picked it up, was halfway down the body, so I finished the body, popped the ribbing on. I finished this first sleeve. Now I decided not to do the decreases on the sleeve, so I have a completely straight sleeve because I don't like it when you end up with half a cable. That just really bugs me. So I've just done a straight sleeve and then a bit of a decrease in the cuff there. Then I decided to, once I'd finished that sleeve, I decided to do the neckline, and I also decided that it needed a little bit more length. So I went on and added about 10 more rows to the bottom rib because it was originally quite a bit smaller than that. But it didn't really look quite right with the depth of rib that I had ended up choosing to do on the neckline and the cuffs. So I went back and added some more length to the body. And I am now halfway down the second sleeve. It doesn't look like halfway, but I have done 15 pattern repeats out of the 30 that I need before I do the cuff. So it is coming along really well. I mean, look at this. Isn't it stunning? I'm using this slightly tweedy, I'm using two strands of yarn held together. One has got slight tweed and one is more solid, and they're both from Yarn on Comb, and they are alpaca and merino and nylon and cashmere blends. Yeah, so I'm really loving it. I'm going to Auckland next weekend for Woolfest, actually for my sister's graduation, but it also happens to be Woolfest that weekend. So I'm very excited to be getting to attend Woolfest and meet some of the lovely people that I chat to from the fibre community online, and get to meet them in real person and see their stalls and all of that. So I'm really hoping, my challenge to myself was to get this done in time to wear. So I have 1 week left to finish this sleeve and block it, which I think is achievable. Each pattern repeat takes me about 15 minutes, so I probably have 3 to 4 hours more knitting to go on this sleeve in the next 6 days. So hopefully I can get there. I don't have a lot of time off in that time, but I am home all the evenings next week. So, and I do have Friday off work before I go away, first thing Saturday morning, but I would love it to be being blocking Friday rather than still knitting on. Otherwise I might only get steam blocked, but we'll see. A steam block will suffice if that's all we get to do. But I'm trying my darndest to get this done so I can wear it to Woolfest. Yeah, so that's really good. That's been my main focus for the last wee while, is working on this, working on my socks when this is not appropriate. Worked on my shawl a lot while I've been away to visit friends in Hami, and for my daughter's roller skate competition a couple of weekends ago. We had some driving to do for that. So yeah, it's been good. I'm enjoying all these WIPs. I feel good that I have less WIPs than I have. I've been trying to get my WIP pile down a bit this year, and kind of being more focused on less projects. And I've got a few WIPs that are still kind of in hibernation. I still haven't finished the sleeve on my kip sweater, and I don't know when I will because I have no inspiration for that. I've put my my city dress on hold. I'm going to come back to that in the springtime because that is a cotton blend, and I'm not going to get to wear it for the next 6 months anyway, so I'm just going to put that on hold, come back to that in the springtime. The one WIP that I do have still going that I would really like to get back to, and as soon as I've finished Lauder, I'm going to pick up again, is my Stella Quilt blanket. So I'll give you a quick recap on that one. I have that in this beautiful, gigantic bag that I got gifted in a yarn swap, in an advent swap that I did a couple of years ago. Absolutely love this bag. And so I'm doing this is the, what is it called? Stella Quilt Blanket by Laura Penrose. And I'm working, I'll show you the one that is complete. This was my first square. I'm doing this star motif throughout. It comes with 2 different star motif options, but I am doing this motif throughout all of them. I've completed that one. I pretty much completed this one, got bored and didn't do the last just grey square. That just needs one more and all its ends woven in, and then I'm halfway through this one here, which is more peachy coral. And I'm just using scraps and mini skeins from my stash. Trying to alternate a variegated and a more solid throughout. And for the grey, I am using this sparkle cashmere sock from Knit Crate. I had several skeins of this that I had purchased, and I got some more from someone overseas from Ravelry D-Stash when I needed some more to do this blanket. And it has a sparkle. I don't know if you're going to be able to see that, but it has a silver stellina in it, and it's a merino cashmere DK weight blend. So I'm using that held single, and I'm using the minis. Well, I'm using all sorts of minis. Some of them are fingering weight hand dyeds, and some of them are commercials, and some of them are DKs, and some of them are lace weights held triple. Like, I'm just using a whole assortment of things from my stash. I have a whole pile of yarns put together. I don't know if I'll use those ones. What else is going to go into this one? I've got this one here that's going to go in. This one I got in a swap as well. I've got this cashmere merino lace weight to go in there still. I've got this peachy one as well. That's a high twist with Stellina sock yarn. Yeah, so lots of bits. Still working away at that project. I'm really excited to pick that up again. Ideally, I think I was going to make 8 of these squares and then join them all. Is it 8 or 12? No, I think it's 8. I don't have 12 skeins of the grey. Yeah, I think it's 8, or maybe it's 9. I can't remember how many it's supposed to be. But anyway, there's still a lot of knitting to go on these. But I'm really excited to get back to this because it is lovely to work on a blanket in the wintertime. And although, and then it's being squares like this, it's not too big and bulky to work on, not too heavy to have on your lap, but also really enjoyable, and getting to pick the colours and change it up as you go. And remember all the projects that you originally used those scraps for, or where you got that mini from. It's really fun. So I'm really excited to get back to this. As soon as Lauder's finished and I'm home from my trip to Woolfest, I'm going to pick that one up as my main WIP for a while. Undoubtedly, I'll want to cast on some other sweater because I always need some kind of sweater on the needles. But that is yet to be decided. I did cast on a project and made some good progress on it, and then realised it was completely the wrong size and my gauge was completely off, and so that's been frogged. And I don't think I will start it again right now. I think it was a bottom up yoked sweater with colourwork design, which I love the colourwork design. It was in creams and blues, and I would still really love to make it, but I might try and insert the chart into a top down because it was doing my head in and I got the gauge completely wrong. So that was kind of a try and fail. Start again, rethink. I'm not sure if I'll cast that one on again right away. I'm a little bit more tempted now to cast on the Calypso, which is by Alana from Black Cat Knits, who's the owner of the Lupine Yarn Store. I actually won one of the giveaways from the shawl along, the summer shawl along cow that they did. I entered my shawlography and also my Crayabea shawl Torrin. I think it's Torrin. Yeah. I entered both those shawls in their summer shawl along, and I won a $50 gift card, which was so amazing. I was so stoked. So I picked up, of course, I ended up spending more than my $50, but I picked up these 2 beautiful skeins of Prosper Yarn Mohair Silk with my voucher. I chose this one on purpose. This is called Kate Moss, and I chose this one to pair with this yarn, which I have from Myro Yarns, for a colour work. I would like to hold these for my Calypso sweater, this to be my colour work colour, and then to use a deep dark blue that I have in a DK weight. It's a cone I got from Wool Yarns. It's a possum wool blend. So I have this as the colour work and deep like inky blue as my all over colour. So I'm quite tempted to cast that on. This is a beautiful golden yellow, but it's a bit too yellow for me, so I purposely chose this Kate Moss to kind of bring it into a bit more of a dirty golden colour rather than a bright gold. And the blue one, this one is called Moon Shadow, and again, I'm really into these inky dark blues at the moment, and I purchased this one to pair with this, which is a skein I've had in my stash for quite a long time by Dark Harbour Yarns. This is a single merino silk blend and called Starboard, and this is called Midnight Blue. And I thought I would hold these together and make something similar to the Elton by Joji Locatelli. There's some other patterns by Tanis of Tanis Fibre Arts that are t-shirts. It's called the Rocket Tee or something like that, and it alternates stripes of a fingering weight and a lace weight. And so you kind of have these almost sheer sections with the lace weight, but then you have the rest of it stripes of the fingering as well. And I just love it. I think it looks really cool. So I'm going to use those together, but that will be more of a springtime knit because that is a t-shirt. I've only got the 2 skeins, 800 meters, so that will be a t-shirt project. But it was lovely to use that voucher to buy something that really enhanced and went with and gave me project opportunities for stuff that I already had in my stash. Yeah, so that's kind of all the things I've got on the needles at the moment. Racing through, which is good, because so let's try and keep this succinct and together, because maybe I will get here a little bit more often. I have some other things to talk about as well. You may have noticed in the background here my lovely little spinning wheel. I acquired this spinning wheel probably about 9 months ago now, and I just bought it off Trade Me for $20 from someone localish to me who had been storing it and didn't have any use for it. And it's taken quite a bit of TLC to get it back into working order. Needed some replacement parts and some mending, and I happened to drop it and break the flyer at one point. The flyer's actually had 2 repairs, and the cradle here has been replaced, and the maidens have needed to be resecured, and it's needed a new tension, what is this called? The string that goes around the drive chain shaft. Oh, what's it called? You know what I mean. The string that makes it run. That needed replacing. I had to try a few different options for that. And it's had a bit of wood polish and TLC, and now it's finally in working order. So I joined the Spinners and Weavers Guild, who meet in Upper Hutt, a very long-standing guild, and they're the ones that put on the Capital Fibre Fest every year. So I've recently joined that guild, and I have had a couple of spinning lessons with some of the lovely ladies there, and so and purchased lots of fibre so that I can now practice my spinning. So I'm very excited to do that. I'm still very much a baby spinner. I've only just started now that my wheel is in working order. So yeah, I'm really enjoying having that little aspect and another item to collect. So at the Fibre Fest, I picked up this crazy rainbow yarn, which is just fun to practice with. I got this on the Woolly Mammoth clearance table, and so I'm just using that to have a bit of fun while I practice, while I get better. Also been using this red fibre that came with the wheel, which I have no idea what is. This one is by Wyoming Wool Carding, and it is Corriedale. So I've been using some of that and some of the red while I get the hang of it, get thinner, get a bit more put together. And then at the Fibre Fest, I'll share with you some of the acquisitions that I got. I picked up this stunning Hanui fibre from Union Fibre. Now, I hadn't heard of really Union Fibre before, but I found out about them on Alana's podcast, and because she went to the Wairarapa Wool Weekend with Bonnie from Union Fibre, and so I definitely made a beeline to their stand at Capital Fibre Fest and picked up this Hanui fibre. It's untreated, so hand wash, in this beautiful deep tealy colour, and I actually got 2 of these so that I can make enough yarn for some kind of project. But I will save this until I have got a bit better, and I will actually be able to make some knittable yarn. So I picked up those at the Fibre Fest. I also picked up 4 of these, which is a merino, it's a mohair silk from Roxy Fibres. They had these in their clearance bin. They're a second for some reason that it doesn't state, but I don't really care. It probably has some dye variances. But I got 4 of these because they were only $20 each, normally $38. So that was the bargain of the century, bargain of the day at least. So beautiful yarn by Roxy Fibres, and I have quite a lot of colours in my stash, yarns in my stash that are in this teal wheelhouse. It's definitely a colour I love. I do have 4. Where's the last one gone? It's not with me. Oh yes, here it is. So I will potentially use this over a couple of projects because I have 1,600 metres here. Have I got 400 metres per skein, I think? 420. So I have a lot of I have, yeah, quite a lot of meterage here. You can either make a really big thing or 2 smaller projects, maybe even 3 for one project, 1 for another. We will see. Lots of options in my stash. I actually have another skein of this same base that's a real beautiful teal, so I might even be able to do like a teal, another rocket Alton vibey thing, and then use these 3, which is 1200 meters, which would be enough for a sweater of some kind held with something in my stash, or even held with this if I make that into a yarn at some point. So we'll see. So that was a real beautiful score. And then I picked up some more yarn from Starcrest Farms. Now, I actually bought a sweater quantity of this last year, and the project that I cast on and I've had to frog was in this yarn. I bought this last year. This is a it's a woolen spun Polworth yarn, grown in Oxford in down south in New Zealand, and spun by Wild Earth Yarns in Christchurch. And so I have the undyed base here, and I got some beautiful I got a gradient of purples, which I'm going to do some kind of colour work yoke sweater with. This as the main colour, was my plan. And I did love, like, although the sweater that I cast on, that was also a colour work yoke, but with deep blues, and so the same base, didn't work out. I loved the knitting experience of the yarn, and so this is a really small producer. You can buy from them they don't have an online shop, but you can email them and purchase that way, Starcrest Farms. But I'm loving the woolen spun. I'm loving the kind of farm yarn. It's very soft. I love Polworth, and minimally processed, hand wash. It's just beautiful, and I'm into purple all of a sudden. Never used to like purple, but I'm into purple now. So pink, purple, midnight blue, and teal, with a bit of naturals thrown in there, and I'm a happy girl. I could knit those colours for the rest of my life. So anyway, so I got the 4 mini skeins, and I got the 300 gram skeins for the base colour. For that, and they threw in this beautiful little tiny teal one for free, 10 gram skein. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that. Oh, look, I got 2 actually of this colour. It was 5 for $35. So I got 5, and I got 2 of the darker ones. So I'll do the gradient light to dark. So that the largest part of the yoke I'll have 2 skeins of that to be able to use. They're just 20 gram minis. Yeah. And the other thing that I don't have with me, because it's not with me, is I brought some fibre from Ravelry Station. This is their name, Ravelry Station, and they are in the Wairarapa, so about an hour and a half drive from me, out over the coast. And they have a beautiful little farm, and they've just brought a mini mill, and I brought some fibre from them, what did I end up getting? They had so many beautiful fibres, but the one that they recommended for a newbie spinner like myself was a Corriedale and something else blend. I can't remember what it is, and I don't have it with me, but I have. I'll try and take a picture and pop it in. I brought 500 grams in this big ass bag of this beautiful soft honey-ish colour to spin up. So I'm hoping I can make a bigger project with that. Yeah, once I've got the hang of spinning. So I've got a few of these stunning hand-dyeds. Now I've got the random rainbow and red to practice with, and then I have some beautiful naturally coloured fibre to spin up to make something with that. I thought, I've got quite a few of these single skein or single braids of hand-dyed ones that if I did a natural colour, I could potentially have enough to then do a colour work yoke or some kind of accent with some of my hand spun that's hand-dyed. So yeah, that's all very exciting. It is. I have been wanting. My legs are going to sleep. Sorry, I'm just going to have to change positions. I have been wanting to delve into the world of spinning for a while. I really didn't have the capacity to pick up anything new while I was studying last year, and struggling to have the time to pick up new things now that I am working full time. But it is lovely to have an inspiring thing to work on, something to be new at, something to get better with, and a whole new space to work, to work in. So I'm excited for that. And yeah, I just go to the spinning group. It's on a Tuesday morning. So whenever I'm not working on a Tuesday morning, I go. So that's really cool. Really lovely ladies. Yeah, so that's kind of what I've been doing. You've heard about my potential plans for the Calypso. That might be my next cast on unless something else trumps it. Working on the Stella. My only other plan to do is to make a muscle burra for my friend Helen. She has made one for her dad and for her mum, and she's never going to get around to making her own one. She hikes a lot, and the muscle burra is the perfect hat to have hiking. So I'm going to make one for her out of this skein, which is a dip-dyed skein from Skeins. One of my faves, and this one is called Ranganui, and it's 80% merino, 20% nylon. So it's a sock yarn, so really hard wearing, super washless. You can put it in the washing machine if need be. And I am going to use that. We looked all the way around Capital Fibre Fest and to see if there was a skein of yarn that she liked even better than she liked this one, which I already had in my stash, but she had been eyeing up and she didn't like anything else better than this. So we're sticking with this one. So I'm going to cast that on. Like I said, I'm heading to Woolfest in Auckland next weekend. Today's Friday. It's not tomorrow. It's the next weekend, the 24th that I'm going. Today is the 15th, 16th of May. And so I have an hour-long flight to Auckland and lots of travel time because it's an hour-long drive at least from the airport out to where the show is, and then I've got to come back for my sister's graduation. I'm in Auckland for the whole weekend to spend some time with her and to see her graduate and go to Woolfest. So this is going to be my travel project because a muscle burra is perfect. A whole skein, of fingering weight yarn will probably get me through the whole weekend. I'm bound to have a sock with me as well, but I will have this to work on. So I'm looking forward to doing that. I have not let myself wind up the skein or cast it on until I finished the lauder, because otherwise I will get distracted, because that is me. So the lauder is my focus. I am working on that sleeve until it is done, and then I can wind up and cast on this. And I will cast on my other sock because I need some knitting for my break at work. Oh, the other thing I got at Capital Fibre Fest is this beautiful bag. This is a bucket bag by Mama Wooling. I didn't purchase any of her yarn at Fibre Fest this year, though she is going to be at Woolfest, so it might still happen. But I did want to support her because I've been getting all of her monthly colorways this year, and I'm also going to be getting her winter solstice advent coming up. I didn't buy any of her yarn, but I did buy her bag because I wanted to support her on the day, and I put a few pins on there that I already owned that matched the vibe of this bag, but I just couldn't walk past this beautiful pink birdies and butterflies and blossoms, and yeah, I love these bucket bags. This is my third one now like this. I purchased another one previous year from Mama Wooling at Capital Fibre Fest, and I bought one on a D-stash that someone was passing on, and now I have this beautiful pink one, and I find it a really good size for a sweater. You can stuff the whole sweater in there. You can't fit a whole sweater quantity, well, and you can fit a whole lot of yarn in there at the start as well, but also they're a drawstring, which I prefer because I am always zipping my yarn into zips if I have a zip bag. So it has great drawstring, and it has a carry strap as well. They're really robust, beautifully made. So yes, thank you, Sarah. I love this bag. And I think that's everything that I want. Oh no, there's one other thing. One other acquisition, sorry. It has been a while, so there has been plenty of yarn. I was supposed to not be buying yarn this year, and that has not been going well. I have still been buying lots of yarn. Yep. I kind of knew that I was never going to stick with it. I had good intentions and very poor follow through. But it's okay. It's all good. It is, I have a job now. The money is there. There's no going into debt or anything like that. It's just probably could spend it other places, but that's fine. We're enjoying our craft and we are enjoying simple things, the slow crafts and the joy that it brings. What I did buy for myself is this beautiful Mother's Day box from Rainbows and Sprinkles. This is a Australian yarn dyer that I recently became aware of. She makes beautiful yarns and she was doing this Mother's Day mystery box. Mother's Day was last weekend, I think. Time flies. I think it was last weekend. Yeah, 9th of May. It was last weekend. The Fibre Fest was on the Saturday and Mother's Day was on the Sunday. So I bought this beautiful box. It came from Australia. It arrived on the Monday after Mother's Day, but that was quite lovely. And it came with this stunning bag. Similar style to Mama Wooling's, but a little bit smaller. It's got the double and the jute handle and drawstring. Very fun. Very fluoro. And again, I've added a few pins that I had in my stash of pins. I just shuffled them around from other bags because they go with the vibe of this one. So it came with that. It came with this box of beautiful teas called Tea Tonic, a 10-pack calming selection of beautiful Australian teas. We have Throat Soother Tea, Deep Dream Tea, Relaxation Tea, Blue Magic Tea, Australiana Tea, Wellbeing Tea, etc., etc. Beautiful tea bags. Some really fun, go with the vibe, butterfly and flower stitch markers. This really fun flower themed retractable measuring tape. Never can have too many of these. I'm always losing them. Some cookie bite treats, which got consumed already. And this is the yarn. So it came with the sock set. And isn't this just my vibe? It's so beautiful. So this yarn is based on the inspiration. Oops, sorry. Heck, that is on here, which is now going to be hard to show you. So that was the teaser photo that came when you purchased it. Mother's Day vibe, and this is the yarn. That is just stunning. It's just called Mother's Day 2025 set, and it's the sock base, 85% superwash merino, 15% nylon, 400 meters to 100 grams. It feels very, very similar to the base that Mama Woolen uses for her sock yarns, which I absolutely love. So yes, isn't that pretty? So when I have a break in knitting up all the Mama Woolen yarns, I will knit this into some socks, or maybe something else, because it is just so beautiful. Yeah, the lovely Bernadette, who I did a swap with for Advent last Christmas, she gave me a Rainbows and Sprinkles skein as my Christmas Day gift in our Advent that we swapped, and so that's how I came to know about them as a yarn dyer, and yeah, I've fallen in love. They do lots of pink and neons and sprinkles and very, very fun, bright, colourful vibes, which is very, very fun, but not perfect for every project, but really enjoyable and really fun for something like this, like a gift box. Beautiful box too, so cool, and not crazy prices shipping from Australia either. So sorry, crinkles while I put the tissue away. I think that's everything that I've got to talk about today. Thank you for coming back and joining me. I am going to try to be a bit more regular with these podcasts. I had great intentions at the start of this year to podcast frequently, and that has not eventuated at all. It's been like 2 months since I last did one of these, So I do apologise for the big gaps in content, but hopefully I can find the energy and the inspiration to do a bit more recording and share with you what I have been making, hopefully at least once a month, so I can show you my monthly socks, and surely I will have done a decent amount of knitting each month. I will be back to tell you about how WIPS goes and to show you my finished lauder and to talk to you about whatever I cast on after that. So, and hopefully share a little bit more of my spinning with you in the future as well. So thank you for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful day, a great weekend. If you're going to be at WIPS in Auckland, feel free to come up and say hi. I would love to meet any and everyone who follows me here or has chatted to me online or would just like to say hi. I'm all in for the in-person, real life knitting friends, not just the online community. So if you see me, I'm only going to be there briefly because I am actually there for my sister's graduation, which is out South Auckland at 2 o'clock. So I'll just be there sort of 10 till 12. But if you spot me, say hi, and it would be lovely to, yeah, I'll share with you again. I'll try and remember to take some video clips or take photos with people that I meet. I didn't remember to do that at Fiberfest at all, which I was a bit bummed with myself. But anyway, you've seen all the lovely things that I've brought, and I will, yeah, see you again soon, I hope. Enjoy your crafting. Stay warm if you're in the southern hemisphere like I am, and enjoy your spring and summer weather that is arriving if you're in the northern hemisphere. And I will see you again soon. Ka kite.